And this will end up being part 2, right? So let me try to get us back to where we were. Remember, there are 4 ways to solve a system of equations. One is by graphing. That's involved the quiz. Second, by substitution. Third, by elimination. And the fourth, by matrices. Graphing's done. And we started by substitution, and that's where we're picking up Andrew. Actually, it is because it's this way. So thank you for looking out for me. All right. So we said, remember, in all of this, whenever you solve a system, you're looking for the point of intersection, right? That's the key. Sub is pretty easy. If 2 things are equal, you can sub them in for each other. So we said now, if we're going to learn this substitution method, the first thing to learn is that there's a best choice. In other words, we have 2 equations with 2 variables, a total of 4 variables. So if you look right here, we had a black x and a black y, a blue x and a blue y, and one of those is the best choice. And we said the best choice was solve the black one for y. That's the beginning step of solving by substitution, and if you make a wise choice there, you make your life easier. The second example, the best choice was blue x, and the third example, the best choice was black x. That's how you start it all. We then went and did an actual problem. So we had to first choose, are we solving for black x, black y, blue x, blue y? We chose to solve for black x. Now, when we solved, we moved the 3y by adding its opposite to both sides, and we got x equals 19 minus 3y. And I told you guys, circle it. I told you to circle it, I told you to circle it, I told you to circle it, and I'm telling you, it is key, or it helps if you'll circle it. All right? Let's see if I can go higher here. It'll help if you'll circle it. Do you have to do it? No, but it's just a little thing that makes life easier. Because again, it's that value that you're going to sub in next. All right, so then what did we do? We took then the other equation, and where that variable was, the x, we subbed in the 15 minus 3y. We solved that blue equation. We ended up down here at y equals 6. How do we then get the x value? We take the circled equation. We take that circled equation and we use it to find that last variable. And it's a quick sub in, and voila, we are there. All right, so let's see if we can do that again on the next example. I didn't want to throw you to the wolves with homework with just one example. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Mr. Scarfi, can I borrow Effie Hilton for this?
Off she goes. All right, so here's our second example. So again, your first choice, black x, black y, blue x, blue y. Give you 5 seconds to make a choice. And again, I know I'm going too fast for some of you to adequately think about that, but again, time constraint. You can watch the video and pause the video here and think through it. All right, but your choice would be? Blue X is the best choice. Easiest. Black Y is not bad, but blue X is best. All right, blue X is easy. Again, we'll move that positive 3y by adding a negative 3y to both sides. You don't need to show that step. I'm just showing it for clarity in the notes. Result, x equals 2 minus 3y, and I cycle it. So we solved one of the equations for one of the variables. Now sub it into the black equation. So the next thing is to sub that into the black equation. So I'm looking at the black equation, I'm writing 2, and where the x is, I'm putting my parentheses, right? And then I have my negative y equals my negative 10. So again, I'm looking at the black equation. Where my x is, I'm putting my parentheses. And then it's minus y equals negative 10. I'm going to take my blue, and I'm going to sub in, right? 2 minus 3y. subbing in my 2 minus 3y. Let me grab my notes so I keep up with you guys and make sure I'm where I want to be. All right, let's see. Where are we?
Yeah. Let's solve substitution. Do it for last.
Ah, yes. Thank you very much. All right. So, continuing on, right? You would now solve. So now sub into the black equation. Next, solve that. So distribute, you get a 4. Distribute, you get a negative 6y. Minus y equals negative 10, right? Negative 6y and a negative y is a negative 7y. A negative 10 and a negative 4 is a negative 14. Therefore, y is negative 14 divided by a negative 7 is 2. And y is 2. Again, if you're capable of skipping the steps, I don't have any problem with it. Again, I'm showing some work. But some of you, if you skip those steps, if you don't actually show this, you'll make a mistake. So just be careful, okay? All right, and again, that's what I would do if I was showing the work there. All right, y equals 2. Where do I go from here? Just talk it, say it. You can all be talking. What do I do next? Sub it in where? Where? Sub it into the y in the circled equation. That's the easiest one. The easiest way. All right. You have a positive 2 and a negative 6 for a grand total of negative 4, right? Do I leave my final answer like this? Why? Because the solution is a point of intersection, right? It's a point on a line. So again, we're going to do negative 4, 2. Remember, your x always comes first and your y always comes second, regardless of the order that you solve them in. Questions on that? All right, so this last one, I'm going to have you do a part and stop, do a part and stop, do a part and stop, so that you don't get too far out of whack, okay? So, first thing I want you to do is choose black X, black Y, blue X, blue Y, and then stop. Just make that choice. And the choice is blue Y is the only decent choice. Okay. Do what you're supposed to do next and stop. Just that next step. I'm going to pause the video. And hopefully you said to yourself, I need to solve the blue equation for y. I'll add a negative 3x to both sides. By the way, I could do this a different way. I'll show you in a minute. And I have negative y equals 21 minus 3x. But then I got to take care of this negative. So change the sign of the y and change the sign of everything else. And negative 21 plus 3x, yes? Now, by the way, don't write this. Would you agree I could add a positive y to both sides and put the y on the other side? Would you agree then I can move the 21 to the other side? Aren't those the same? Isn't the 21 negative? Isn't the 3x positive? So just another possibility there. Okay. Go ahead and do the next step and stop. So you're actually going to get the value of one of the variables and stop. I'm going to pause the video. So hopefully you are going to sub in the value of y for y in the black equation. That one doesn't matter. So when you distribute, oops. Positive 2 times a negative 21 is a negative 42. Positive 2 times a positive 3x is a 6x. That's where I'm at right now. I now have 10x. I got to add a positive 42 to both sides. 52, 62. That's a 70. When I divide both sides by 10, whoa, pink. Don't do pink. By 10, we get x equals 7. How many got that? Ooh, that is not many. What in the world? All right, put your hands down. What got you then in that? Oh, look back. Your work should look exactly like mine. Positive 2 times negative 21, negative 42. Positive 2 times positive 3x, 6x. 4 of them and 6 of them, 10 of them. Add a positive 42 to both sides. 52, 62, 70. 70 divided by 10 is 7. So look, if any of you made a mistake there, is it a problem with understanding? Yes or no? Is that a mistake from here to here? Is that a problem with understanding anything? It's not. It's just a mistake. I got to be more careful. There's no understanding problem, though. So, all right, we can fix that. All right, finish it now. Finish it. I'm going to pause and you finish it. Okay, so if you go ahead and take that 7, you're going to sub that into the cycled equation where the x is. Oh, 21, negative 21 and a positive 21 is 0, and 0 is fine. You could get a 0 in the beginning and use the 0. You can get it later. And I'm sure everybody wrote their final answer as the point of intersection of 7 minus 0. How many got that correct at the end? Very good then. Who can tell me the wording for the type of solution we have? Anybody have it yet? Raquel? It is consistent and it is consistent and independent. Whenever you get a point of intersection, consistent and independent. If it was parallel lines, there would be no solution. Therefore, it would be inconsistent. If they were the same line, we would have an infinite number of points along the line, and it would be consistent and dependent. All right, very good. All right. So, again, we've been through this method twice. I'm not going to review again. We just reviewed doing it. Have fun with your homework. Got a lot of class time, which that's a good thing.